Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. This is the second episode of the Canadian Geekcast, and I'm your host, the Blackbeard Matt. And joining me today, we have the evil sea witch, Steph.
Hello!
And we've also got the dreaded no-eyed Steve.
Aye, matey.
And our final host. I know he's just itching to hear about what his pirate name is. He lives in a pineapple under the sea. It's Dennis.
I hate you so much. Oh God. I don't wear square pants, and I don't have like a cat named Gary.
That was beautiful.
Oh God.
I had to.
I'm a little disappointed you didn't go with the obvious Steve the Pirate from Dodgeball.
That's right.
For me.
You know what? I had a complete brain fart. I should have totally gone with that.
It's okay. That's what post editing's for, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. But yeah, this is the second episode of the Canadian Geekcast, and I think we've got a pretty good show set up for you guys today. We're going to discuss a few games, some Nindies, GDC. Yeah, I think it should be pretty good, eh?
Oh, yeah. Of course. Have some confidence here, guys. It's going to be awesome.
It is going to be awesome.
It's going to be great.
But before we get going, we've got our random question of the week. Today's question is, if you could have the powers of any superhero, whose powers would you have and why? So Josh, no. Josh isn't here today.
Josh is playing Sea of Thieves in real life, and he went to a tropical island.
Yes, Josh has abandoned us for
No, he was mutinied.
nicer climate. Oh, okay, he was mutinied.
Oh, mutinied right off the island, yeah.
That's right. Dennis, since I was so mean to you at the beginning, we'll let you go with this one first.
Okay.
If you could have any superpower from any superhero, whose would it be and why?
I want to be a superhero. I would want Goku from Dragon Ball's instant transmission, so I wouldn't have to commute on the Durham Transit.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't like.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
Now, does that power? Do you have to? Is it like what's his name, Nightcrawler, where you kind of have to? You
got to imagine
once?
the place to be there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you just have to.
You just have to see it in your mind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right on. That'd be all right.
So you couldn't go like to Paris because you haven't really been there before, but you can maybe go. But if you've seen the Eiffel Tower, maybe.
Yeah, like if you've seen a picture, that should technically.
Yeah,
work.
it should technically work.
Yeah.
Cool. Steve, you're up next. If you could have any superpower.
So it would have to be the Flash's speed. I know Dennis took teleportation, which was my first. Which was going to be my first, specifically with Nightcrawler, but afterwards I determined be super speed. Living in Toronto, it gives me a lot of anxiety when I have to be a specific place on time, and knowing the TTC is just awful. I would just love to remedy that with, some super speed.
That'd be pretty good. I've never ridden the TTC, but if traffic is any indicator of how bad it is downtown.
It's definitely an indicator.
Steph, what about you?
Well, I think we're going to see a common theme here because I also have to deal with TTC. I would also like teleportation, but since I'm a total like superhero noob, the only person that came to mind was Doctor Strange. Because then he also has like a lot of other powers. He just seems really OP.
Oh, yeah.
I'm for whatever.
He is.
All his powers, I'm for all of them.
Plus,
he's the
You'd
dude.
be a world-renowned neurosurgeon.
Yeah. That's less exciting.
I think she wants the powers, not the talent.
Yeah. Well, he lost that, so I'm all for the powers.
Did he?
Superpowers. Well, yeah.
His hands got crushed.
Oh, I guess, but he kind of came back after he did that whole transformation thing.
Does he? Like, my only knowledge of
Did he?
him is Marvel.
I mean, his hand. Yeah, well, I guess.
That's
I
right.
don't know. I never read the comics, so.
Me neither. I only know the movie.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you.
Cool.
As far as my knowledge goes, he's never been able to go back because his hands keep shaking.
Hmm. Oh, okay. Well, that explains that then.
I
didn't know that.
Yeah, so I also don't want to deal with TTC. I travel a lot. I have a lot of friends like all over. It'd be just so cool to like go visit them very instantly. Go see my family all over the world, and just like straight up troll people. Like that whole scene in like what was the last movie that they were all in together?
Civil War, or
yeah. The last one when he just like plays around with all of the superheroes. I was all for that.
Yeah.
Ragnarok.
Yes,
when he screws around with Thor.
Thank you. Yeah, in that movie when he just trolls around people.
Loki was just like falling for like minutes and minutes.
I'm all for that. Give me that power.
Nice.
And Matt?
My first thought would be something like Batman's money, because that's a superpower, but that's doesn't really work too well. I'm thinking though probably something along the lines of Wolverine and his regenerative abilities.
Hey, bub.
Okay.
Do you get injured a lot or what?
Well, I have a bad habit of picking at my fingers. But still, just being able to, just heal almost instantly would be pretty handy. Although,
so you got the claws as well, right?
Yeah, we'll go with that too. We'd have the claws,
okay,
but not the adamantium claws, just the
bone claws.
The creepy bone claws. That's what I would have. But I don't know if I'd end up using them for good or for using those powers for good or for evil. If you've heard my evil laugh on Twitter, it's kind of fun.
Can you give us a sample?
I don't know if I have.
I don't know what that sounds like.
It gets pretty loud, so. But I'll link it to you on Twitter.
Hey, thanks.
I'll listen to it.
Yeah. All right. Well, with our introductions out of the way, I would say it's time to dive into our topics. So we are going to hand things over first to Steve. We've got our first topic, which is Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, so I've been playing Sea of Thieves a little bit now. It launched on March 20th for the Xbox. For those that don't know, it is one of the games included in the day and date with Game Pass, it being a Xbox exclusive. People will also like to know that it is a play anywhere game, so people like Steph here could use it on her gaming laptop, or Dennis, I don't know if you have a gaming laptop you like to take to your classes. You could end up just playing it if you wanted to. It's hard to say exactly how long I've been playing. It doesn't actually record your game time, from what I've been able to find. But in terms of like levels, there are 3 different factions you can start leveling up with. One being the Gold Hoarders, other one being the Order of Souls, and the third one being the Merchant Alliance. For each of those, I'm 15, 7, and 6. Take that as you will. I don't really know what that compares to with someone playing, a lot.
Quick question. With the alignments, is it different characters, or can you have just your main characters aligned with the 3 different factions differently?
Exactly. So yeah, you're never gated off from being with either of the 3. All it affects is which voyages you go on. So say I wanted to go on a voyage that deals with digging up treasure, I would go with Gold Hoarders. They send you out with a map and coordinates. You go find the island, dig up the treasure, bring it back to them. Order of the Souls, you go out and you have to kill a group of skeleton pirates, I guess. Bring back the Captain's Skull. You get points and gold for that.
Have you been playing this alone or with a group of people?
So so it's broken up. You can play by yourself. You can play with you and one other person. You can play with you and two other people, and on a boat of 4. I've done all of them. The fun ranges drastically between the 3. When I started playing, I was like, okay, you can play this game by yourself for all intents and purposes. However, once you get into a group setting of you and 3 other people on a very large boat, each of you having your own set of duties and all that, it's really hard to go back to playing by yourself because sailing island to island, there's a lot of downtime. Which, I mean, half the fun, I guess, is like hanging out with your friends on the platform, right, and just the banter that goes on and everything. I would say there's at least like 5 minutes, almost maybe even 10 minutes between islands once you're sailing. So if you're by yourself, I could see it dragging on and wearing real thin. Yeah. But for me, it's all about the group experience. Getting together with some friends, just like, it's just a game you can screw around with. Like, the beauty of the game is that there is no story. I'm not a big online player because games that have stories, I don't want to be interrupted in. I want to actually experience the story, experience the dialogue. This one, there is no story. There's no exposition. There's no, hey, you're the pirate that's going to save the world and kill all these skeleton pirates. You don't have to worry about that. It's just, hey, go get treasure, go kill these skeleton pirates, or go bring me back some chickens. And here's some gold.
So nice. The big question is, well, there's a couple here.
Yeah.
1, are you going to keep playing? 2, the big question on the internet is it worth the $60 price tag that it has? So if people who didn't have the Game Pass, it's $60. A lot of people are complaining there's not enough content. And 3, how much repetition is there? Like, is there enough in there to keep you going, or is it kind of one of those games that you play for, like, let's say 3-4 hours, maybe up to 6, and then you put it away and then you bring it back in the next update?
So I'll answer 2 of those questions almost with the same answer. If you're not a person who wants to purchase the Game Pass subscription, which I don't really see why you wouldn't, it's $10 a month. You get access to 100 games, and you're looking at this game and saying, is it really worth $70? I would say maybe just hold off. This game is really about the group you're in. If you have a solid group, it'll bring you back. Like, the repetition isn't really there. However, the argument is that the game's missions are very shallow. Like, you can go explore an island, get treasure, bring it back, or get a skull, bring it back, over and over again. So if you're on the assumption that, oh, I'm going to spend $70 just for that, maybe wait until E3 for them to design a roadmap of more content that's going to go in. However, if you already have Game Pass, I don't see why you wouldn't just play this, even if it's just for a couple weeks. I mean, I played it for, I would have to guess, around 15 to 20 hours right now, and I don't have any desire to slow down. The only thing being is that Far Cry 5 comes out next week, so managing that time might be a little tricky. But to answer your third question, is this a game that you could see yourself coming back to? Absolutely. If they down the road say, hey, we're going to bring out this new raid, we're going to add new like Kraken-like events, absolutely, I'm going to be there. One other thing I want to touch on is that, not sure if you guys have seen any of the videos, but this is going to sound really weird, but this game has some of the best looking water I've ever seen in a video game. The motion of the boat could almost make you seasick. That's how like realistic like the physics are. You're looking at it, it looks real. The sound design in the game, unbelievable. Like every like creak of the boat, every like wisp of the wind, like they nailed it 100%.
I'd almost want to play that in VR.
Yeah,
that would be cool. I could see people getting very seasick.
You know, I'm actually surprised that I don't think, does this game support Dolby Atmos? I wonder.
I don't know.
So,
I'll be honest.
For those of you that don't know what Dolby Atmos is, it's ridiculously immersive audio. There's 5.1 and 7.1 surround sound, which you'll hear it, but this Dolby Atmos just takes that and just goes, it's on like a whole other level where you'll actually hear the audio move above you, like from one location to another, and you are literally surrounded by the audio now, and it actually will use the reflected audio from like your walls and your ceilings to really immerse you into it. The Xbox One X does that beautifully. In fact, the most recent update adds Dolby Atmos support just to the menu. It's got and if you've got a pair of even just Atmos compatible headphones, like I was trying it last week, and it sounds so cool. Is as you're just scrolling down the menu, you actually hear the audio dropping in front of you. It's really neat. I think Sea of Thieves would sound unbelievable in VR, like Steph said, with Dolby Atmos.
You'll just need to get like a rocking chair, so you're like rocking with the motion of the boat.
That too. That too. Yeah. I'm actually really surprised that this doesn't have Atmos support, but it is coming. Oh, I just see an update here.
Oh,
it is. Yes, coming. It is. These titles are currently
so excited
Atmos at launch.
Yeah, one thing I will say, and I think this will speak to you, Matt, like how they get rid of like any kind of experience points or anything in this game is perfect, because think about, for you, Matt, specifically, you said, oh, I haven't gotten any time to play this game yet. Well, it really doesn't affect anything except for you. Like if you come into a game wanting to join me, who's put in like 15, 20 hours, there's no, well, my sword's not powerful enough, can I go on these voyages with you? Weapons from start to finish, they act the same way, they have the same attributes. Nice. Nothing really changes. The only thing that you purchase is skin, so your pirate will look a little budget in comparison to someone who's put in 40 plus hours in, or a ship that looks OP. It really doesn't matter. Like nothing is more than just cosmetic purchases, which I really like. You're just trying to deck out your pirate to looking like the coolest pirate on the sea, which I really like, because then you don't have to worry about, oh, well, maybe I'm taking a night off to play another game or other commitments. I can still jump in with my friends and not have to worry about catch up, right?
Yeah, that's good. I remember remember hearing Rare say that as well, which is nice, especially for people, like me, where they don't only maybe have a couple hours, sometimes a couple hours a week to actually play games, or even more casual players. I think that's really good.
Yeah.
I like that. So I'm thinking those.
Yeah, it was one of the downfalls that I felt with like games like Destiny, where you have these games as a service that keep getting updates after updates, and then all of a sudden your group, your squad that you're playing with ends up playing, and then you get left behind, and it's like, well, do I even go back at this point? Do I grind it out by myself just to be able to play with my friends eventually?
Yeah, I think it's also talks to different types of players, because what I've also heard from a lot of people who do play those types of games is that there's no incentive to keep playing because the gold has no meaning. Like it's because it's visual only and skins only. What's the point? Like, what's the point in doing PvP because you get gold? Well, so what? You can't get more powerful stuff. Like, but it's just two sides of different coins, right? Like, it's some people like that, but I do worry that they're gonna have problems keeping people in it, because I think it'll get stale pretty fast. They're really gonna have to have a really aggressive update schedule.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people have been saying like, oh, like the new headlines now is Sea of Thieves an early access game? I think that's up to personal interpretation. If you, I think it's all down to expectations. I knew exactly what this game was going to be going from the beta to the release. I didn't expect anything more. I didn't expect, to go to an island and find, life on the island and different side quests and all that. I didn't expect that. So I think it all comes down to what your expectation of what the game would be.
Yeah, I think Rare is planning, some content, because it's definitely said if this is it, it's going to get stale pretty fast, and I would say probably by year's end there'd be almost nobody playing it.
Year end, though, I give it 4 months if they don't do an update.
Yeah, if they don't come out with something before E3. if they don't come out with something by E3, I think that will put a damper on the rest of the year for them. However, I think as long as they have a decent roadmap of content coming out, even small events, I think they found something really neat that anyone can jump into, especially with Game Pass.
Yeah, I think it's definitely one of those games too where it's like you can just leave it because there's no steamrolling. You can just leave it and come back when they do a big update. That's not the big deal. But I mean, it's been like less than a week, and people are bored of this game.
You should see the Xbox One subreddit. It is unbelievable. The game hadn't even been out for an hour, and we were because I'm one of the moderators on the Xbox One sub, and we were just flooded with constant threads of people just ripping on the game, and it was unbelievable. In fact, the number of people that felt that we were shills and getting kickbacks from Rare, man, if I was getting kickbacks from Rare,
you wouldn't be on this podcast. Let's be real.
I'd still be on the podcast. I just wouldn't have to work full time.
Yeah.
But it's just unbelievable the number of people that are ripping on the game, and it's only been out for a couple days. It's unbelievable.
Less than a week.
It's unbelievable.
Our gaming was exactly the same way. Where like someone made a meme of it, where it was just like the angry person being like, "Why are you having fun? Like, why are you enjoying this game so shallow?" It's like, you know what? Some people like repetitive game loops.
Yeah.
Like just because it's not for you, like it's kind of a No Man's Sky type thing. Well, okay, it's not No Man's Sky. It's not because they didn't promise a bunch of stuff that's not in the game.
But, exactly. There's no lies in this game.
But I do see it having that same effect in that people are playing the game and they're like, that this is it. And I think a lot of people are going to drop off. They're never going to play it again. But I think like No Man's Sky, there's going to be that core fan base who just gets into the loop and then they like enjoy the core gameplay and they're going to keep it and then they're going to keep updating it. I know a lot of people actually come back now and say No Man's Sky, like they have added a lot of stuff and they're really enjoying it still. And like all the power to them. I feel this game is going to go the same way. It's going to drop all those people that don't enjoy it right away. And the people who do enjoy it, they're going to enjoy all as long as they update. That's the biggest concern.
And as long as you have a good group of people too. Like I said, half the thing is like the gameplay loop is what it is. Like I said, it is pretty repetitive. However, it's the journey along the way with friends or just random people you meet. Like I've met like a couple great people just playing by myself, and it really comes down to that. Like if there's a core group of people you can play with, that will keep coming back. It should keep a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, let's move on to one of the next games. Dennis, this one actually these next two are all you.
Yeah, all me.
We've got No Kuni II and Detective Pikachu.
So I can really only speak the most about No Kuni II. It's it's very different from the first one for sure. The first one had gameplay that was like your character would throw out these monsters called familiars, and they would be your like avatar for fighting, but your character could still like combat in the game and like could do spells or whatnot. And this one's different. It feels almost like Tales, but there's more enemies to fight in one battle. So like usually in Tales there's like maybe like 4 at max, and this there's probably like in each battle is probably like maybe 9-10 characters to fight monsters anyway. And this one's more different. It's has a lot of world building from the first one, and also it's kind of weird, but like later in the game you build your kingdom up. You're a king. Well, you were a king, but you're going to become a king. Because in the beginning of the game, you're like the main character's father dies.
No, just kidding.
It's not really a spoiler. And he takes the place of his father. But then, like one of the counselors, he does a coup d'état, and like kicks him out. Actually, doesn't kick him out. It's like he leaves. He leaves with the other character that meets him, and this game is a little different because like it's not one main one main protagonist. This is like a dual protagonist story, because there's a character from, like, if you don't know Ni no Kuni, there's two separate worlds. There's a world like ours, and then there's the fantasy world that it's based in. And the character from our world is, it's kind of weird how this game starts. It starts with the President of the United States driving into a city, and as he's driving on a bridge, you see like a nuke go by, and it destroys the city. And then he gets hit, and then he magically disappears. And this guy's like an old guy. He's like in his 60s. And when he comes into the Ni no Kuni world, he's like...
He was done for.
I like how he said old guy, but then the current president's like more than a decade older than that.
He has gray hair at least, okay?
I'm 35 and I've got gray hair. What does that say about me?
No, I mean like full gray hair. And when he...
Oh, okay.
Yeah. When he comes to the Ni no Kuni world, he's young. He's like in his 20s maybe. So it's kind of weird.
Interesting.
Yeah. And
so
then
what's the core gameplay? Because I think you said it was more like real time.
It's real time, and I would say it's like more like an action RPG than anything.
Yeah, I'm looking up some screenshots of this, and if I had a PS4, I'd be all over this game.
Well, it's not just PS4. If
it's
you have
on
a PC too, yeah.
Yeah, I don't really play PC game. My PC's more geared towards voice recording. So, but
yeah, and also
this game looks awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. I've been playing for 10 hours and I can't put it down.
So,
how long was the first one?
I don't know, 40, 50 hours. I can't remember my final hours of playing it. It's been
what's the like Pokemon? Like everyone's like, oh, it's like Pokemon at points. Like what is that about?
It's just the way these familiars, they just, I don't know, it's just the way that they attack for you. It's just like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's just like, it's very Pokemon-esque. Like, there's tons of familiars that you can collect in the game, in the first game anyway. And in this game, the familiar aspect is thrown out. But they have something in their place, but these, I forget what they're called, but they look kind of weird. They're like elemental kind of creatures. That there's like fire, wind, water, all kind of elements, and they're just with you in the battle. And you can press X and they attack the enemy, or you can just go blazing into that fight without them. It's an optional thing.
Would you have had to play the original before this one, or?
I was actually just about to ask that too.
There's definitely callbacks to the first one, but I would say this is like a Final Fantasy. You don't necessarily need to play it, but but if you did play it, you get it. You get where they're calling that.
Sure.
Okay.
So it's not a continuation of the same story.
No, it's a completely new story with a different set of characters. Because I think.
Okay,
gotcha.
So
I got a feeling this game takes place a century plus more from the first game, at least. Feels that way.
Okay.
Because like the first one felt like it took place maybe in the early 20th century, and this feels like it takes place in the 21st century, adjacent to the guy that came from our world.
Do you prefer this style or the old style better?
Oh, I prefer this game way more. It's like so much. It's funner, I would say. It's funner. And plus there's like, I don't know if anybody likes SimCity, but there's a SimCity kind of aspect, because you're building out your kingdom, and you can like right now I'm just like, I purchased everything, like all the buildings I have to build up, and then you have to level them up to make the kingdom bigger and expand. Kind of cool. I don't really like SimCity, but I like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds wicked.
It's great. I think that's really it. Like, it's a really great game. Like, I think anybody who has a PS4 right now or a PC should definitely get their hands on it. It's like, And plus, there's it kind of reminds me of Final Fantasy VII in a way, because there's an open world, and when you get out the open world, your characters are like, chibi. They're small. Their heads are way too huge, and their bodies are so small. And like it's a huge open world, and it looks. There's so much to explore. So many side quests. And
I've seen lots on Twitter, lots of comments on Twitter from people that like it. I know my brother's just started playing it, and he's been raving about it. So it sounds like it's a pretty good entry into that series.
When did the first one come out?
It released December 9th of 2010.
Oh, damn.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's an 8-year-old game.
I'm kind of disappointed because the original sounds more my jam. Like, I like turn-based tactics. So when they said it was more action-based, I was like, maybe I have to go back and play the original now.
The original one's good, so...
I'm the complete opposite. I do not like turn-based games that much, so this one speaks a little more to me.
I can go either way.
Yeah.
I can go either way. I like them both.
He's indifferent.
Yeah. Nice. So Dennis, why don't you tell us a little bit about Detective Pikachu?
And Detective Pikachu is a game I played less on, maybe a couple hours. I would say it's like a Pokemon game cross a Professor Layton game kind of way.
Damn it! That's how you sell something to me.
Oh. Yeah. So in the game, you play a kid named Tim Goodman. He's coming to the big city, looking into his father's death. So it's pretty heavy at the start, and it's really revolves around this Detective Pikachu, who's he's really like an old kind of guy. Pikachu, I don't know. It seems like he's been doing the detective work for a long time, and this Pikachu is the partner of his father. So, and for some reason, Tim is the only one who can understand him. It's kind of weird. And at the get-go, the start, you look into this. I guess some APOMs are stealing this girl's necklace, and that's like the first case you have where you team up with Pikachu. You learn the mechanics of the game there. I haven't really done much after that. After that, I just went to a detective agency where his dad worked at, and after that, I'm right now I'm in a cave because it caved in. Yeah.
So, question: what is the voice acting like? Because I've heard that there's voice acting.
I
really want to know.
It's really good.
Steph's shaking her head.
No, it's really good, to be honest.
Why is he talking? Like, do they explain?
Not really. They when you start off, the Pikachu can hear himself talk, but when he tries to talk to other people, nobody understands him. It's like, I need somebody to understand.
Oh.
And that's where Tim comes in. Tim is the only one who can hear him.
Oh, I
gotcha.
See. So to everybody else, he's just saying,
he's saying
Pikachu.
Pika, but in an old man's voice. Pika.
Okay, so then that's kind of like the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, where the Pokemon can talk to each other.
Yeah.
And they can understand each other. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. The funny.
But that brings up another question of how did he get his credentials if if no one can understand him? Like, how does he prove his worth?
Well, in the game, detectives have their own partners, their own Pokemon partners, and I guess they just get the credentials just being the partner. I don't know. I guess they learned some stuff. I don't know.
Okay.
So I was going to ask if you could change the audio to Japanese because I often am that person. But then I went and I listened to the trailer or the Japanese version, and it's just as bad. So you know what? It doesn't even matter. Hashtag not my Pikachu. Either way.
My Pikachu talks.
So what is the gameplay like?
The gameplay is, I guess, two-dimensional, and you're just looking at clues, try and connect testimonies from people and Pokemon. So even though your character can understand Pikachu, you can't understand other Pokemon, and that's how Detective Pikachu interprets for you their testimonies. Yeah.
And it looks like there's some like QTEs and
yeah, there are QTEs. There, some are kind of messed up on, but it's not that bad. Just gotta press A and
like,
mash
honestly,
A. What?
This game, I'd be all over it if they had like the original Pikachu voice actor, you know, the really cute Japanese girl with like the Pika Pika, like that girl.
Yeah,
if she voice acted this, I'd be all over it. I just can't do the deep voice
work.
Pikachu.
That wouldn't work because this is a different Pikachu. It's like all Pikachus don't sound the same apparently. I don't know. But this Pikachu is an old guy. He's been in, like I said, in the detective business for a while. He's seen his fair share.
He's seen some shit.
He's seen shit to digest. No.
Yeah. Hey man, it's great. I say it's great.
I don't doubt it. I'm just trying to wrap my head around it.
Okay.
I'm gonna play this game, but mute it. I think that's how I'm gonna have to play this game.
Oh, the voice acting's so good. So good. Don't let your hate mute the voice acting, is all I'll say.
So do you think that it translates well over like in Western regions?
Yeah, I would, because
like the gameplay, the voice acting,
yeah,
all that?
I would say it definitely plays over well. Because it's not a direct translation, because all the names are like English, so there are some Japanese names in it, but it's not really that bad of a translation.
Sure.
Cool.
I would recommend it if you like those. Professor Layton with Pokemon is how I would sell it.
I'm so torn.
Nice.
I'm winning you over.
Slowly but surely. Yeah. All right, we're gonna move on to our next topic, which is the Nindies, and I'm gonna hand this one over to Steph.
Okay. So I didn't actually watch the Nindies live or the full video. I know there was some complaints about how it was done. But what I can talk to is I know quite a few of these games. I watched the trailers for all the games, did some research into them. So in no particular order, there was Mark of the Ninja Remastered. Has anyone here played the original?
No.
Can't say I have.
Okay. So it's by Clay, which is a Canadian developer in Vancouver. They make Don't Starve, Oxygen Not Included, and some other titles. So the original game was in 2012, and they basically just remastered the graphics to make it look a lot nicer. It's like a stealth action game where you play a ninja. So if you like those kind of things, sneaking around, Mark of the Ninja, I've heard it a lot. It's a lot of people love it. It's not my type of game. I don't do stealth. But definitely one to look out for. It's pretty cool that it's coming out for Switch. There's another one which was a Fantasy Strike, which is coming out summer 2018. It's a cel shaded fighting game. I mean, not my jam, but if you like fighting games, I don't think there's a lot on the Switch at the moment.
No, we pretty much have, the 10 millionth version of Street Fighter. That's Street Fighter 2, I should say, because I think that's got to be the one game that's had this, so many different.
I think the other
the same
fighting game
over
is
and over again.
Pokken, right? Pokken 2.
Yeah, there's Pokken.
Pokken, yeah.
And there's also a Dragon Ball Z game.
Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 is what's on there.
That's it, yeah.
Is that considered a fighting game as well?
Considered.
Okay, so we've got 3.
Yeah, so
we've
Fighters.
got 3 fighting games.
I don't think Fighters made it onto Switch, right?
No, it didn't. I mean, before the game came out, there was like they were saying like if Xenoverse 2 sells well on Switch, there's a chance that Fighters may come to Switch.
That's the same thing that Capcom said about with Street Fighter. Is if Street Fighter 2 sells well on Switch, then
so then the next game was Just Shapes and Beats. Also coming out summer 2012, also by Canadian devs. These ones out in Quebec. It's like a musical bullet hell with online and local co-op. Again, I mean, like these games, there's a little bit of something for everybody, and the problem I have is I'm not a bullet hell person. The musical part sounded kind of interesting, but bullet hell not so much. And then there was a game called Garage by Tiny Build, which is a top-down shooter with zombies. So to me, it was kind of like Hotline Miami type vibes.
Okay.
Cool. Is it a twin stick shooter where you've got to use both?
I believe
both analogs
so. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's gonna be a big pass for me. I don't know. Maybe it's just my coordination is just horrible, but I've tried playing a few of those and just can't properly do them. I always end up just shooting in one direction and just kind of moving around.
Right.
So
fair enough. Yeah, can't say it's my jam either. The next game, however, Pool Panic, which was given a very generic later this year published date. It's published by Adult Swim. And I tend to like Adult Swim games because they're just absolutely weird and out there, but the game mechanics are really solid. It's a really unique art style. It's like very cartoony, and you play as like a pool ball that has like little features on him, and there's a big like cue that comes and just hits him into other things in the world. It also has local multiplayer with up to 4 players.
Interesting.
But the aesthetic got me. The absolute just bizarreness. It's totally an Adult Swim game. I love it. I will probably check this out when it comes out, just because I love weird games.
I just looked up some pictures and videos of it on YouTube. This game looks
bonkers.
This looks ridiculous. It does, yeah. You know what? I think I too may pick this up as well.
It has some really unique mechanics, so I really kind of want to check it out.
Yeah.
And then kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum, we have Bomb Chicken, which is coming out summer 2018. It's a 2D puzzle platformer, kind of Bomberman-esque. Nice. I'm very burned out on 2D puzzle platformers. Like, any kind of 2D platformer, action, puzzle, whatever, I'm very burnt out. They're very overdone for me.
Dime a dozen?
Yeah. I mean, it looks good. The art style is really gorgeous. It does add the mechanic of the bombs, but for me personally, I'm kind of burned out. But I know it's really popular and people are probably going to like it.
Oh, yeah.
Then we also have Lumines, remastered.
Lumens.
Spring 2018. Apparently, like, it's a remastered game. I've never heard of the original. Has anyone here?
It's got a huge cult following.
I remember it being a launch title on Vita. One Luminous game. So this might be a remaster of that, maybe? I don't know.
I believe
I'm not
so.
Sure. It's coming out spring 2018. It's got like this really strange Tetris rhythm puzzle game vibe.
Yeah.
It's these blocks and you have to drop them into the rhythm of the music. It's one of those things where it's like, I might pick this up because it seems like a game that you can just pick up and drop. I like rhythm-based games, and I like puzzle games. Yeah.
The art style looks great on this one, too.
Yeah, wow.
It's beautiful.
That looks really good.
It's one of those, again, it's kind of weird and quirky, so I'll probably end up picking it up just to check it out.
Hopefully there's a demo. I think more games need demos. And for people just like what you were just saying, Steph, you're not sure if there's a demo, then,
It's very true, especially since with Nintendo, they don't do it like Steam. Steam, you can play a game with up to 2 hours, and if you don't like it, you can refund it. So, and there's no rating system on Nintendo, so I don't know if the game is good or not.
Yeah, because they shut that off.
Yeah.
They were testing it.
So, to me, like, if a game is not on Steam and I can't read reviews, I'm a lot more cautious with buying on Nintendo.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, it depends on the price point, too. If it's like $20, I'd pick it up, and I don't really care if it's good or bad. But if it's more than that, not so much. The next game, Reigns, Kings and Queens, is spring 2018 and published by Devolver. So I actually have the original Reigns Kings on my mobile. It's a kind of choose your own adventure game / management simulator. It's got really simple mechanics where it's kind of like Tinder, where you like swipe left or right. So I'm assuming when people look over and they just see me on the subway, like swiping left and right, they're like, "Oh, this girl is Tindering like real hard." Like, damn. But it's really fun. It's like you're a king of a. So the original, you're a king, and you have 4 mechanics. So you've got the church, you've got the people, you have your army, and you have money. And all of your options, they will affect one or more of those things up or down. And you have to keep them in the middle. So they can't be too high and they can't be too low. And there's unique deaths for each of those. Like, so if you go too high on, let's say the army, there's a coup and you get killed by the army. If you're too low on money, then everyone starves and dies. So there's like an up and down to everything, and you have to manage it all. And at the whole point of the game is that you're a king who you're not really immortal, but you live this like in cycles. So you die and then you come back and then you die and you come back. And the whole thing is you're trying to trick the devil so you can break the curse.
Cool.
It's really fun. It's Devolver, so the writing is really good. It's really quirky. You can date pigeons. You can have a werewolf marriage. It's silly. I mean,
that's very strange.
It's super fun. There's like a dungeon aspect to it. There's actually like a fighting mechanic in the game. Like it's all very basic, but it's really fun. So this, it seems like it's going to have king and queen. The queen one apparently is just a longer version of kings, but this time you're a queen. But for me, this is the kind of game that would do really well on Switch if you're the kind of mobile player. Like you've got it always mobile and you're taking it with you to travel because it's very easy to put down and pick up. However, this comes down to price point for me. If they're charging you a lot more than they are than the mobile app, which is what a lot of developers do, I would say just pick it up on mobile. To be honest. Because I've really enjoyed Kings on my mobile. And then I've got it with me no matter what. But great game. It's cheap.
Sure.
Buy it on mobile
that makes sense.
if you're just looking to kill some time. The next game was Lightfall, which is coming out spring 2018. Another Quebec publisher, which is pretty cool. A lot of Canadian devs repping the Nindies here.
Yeah.
So it's like a fast-paced action precision platformer. Looks super pretty. Again, don't really care about platformers at this point. I still have to play Hollow Knight. I still have to play Celeste. Like, it's hard to sell that to me when I have so many backlogged. But it looks really pretty, and I know there's the action platformer where it's really precision based is really popular right now. It has its fan base. If you're into that, then it looks solid.
Yeah, going back to what you said about Celeste, I feel bad for any of these platformers coming out on the Switch this year because Celeste came out in January? I want to say?
Yeah, earlier this year, yeah.
January or early February, and I think it just nailed the 2D platformer aesthetic, and any of these games coming out trying to replicate that, just going to get buried this year.
It's the new Dark Souls. It's a Dark Souls of like platforming.
Well, considering that everyone was like, this is a 10 out of 10 game, like this is perfection, they nailed every aesthetic, I feel bad for all these indies trying to replicate something of that sort.
The funny thing is, like, 2D platformers, puzzle, action, precision, whatever, it's not new. It's far from new. There was thousands and thousands before Celeste. Just look at Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight is huge. It's a fantastic game. Also kind of a puzzle action platformer. And Celeste came along, and then it just made it even worse for these guys because now everyone's going to compare everything to Celeste.
Exactly.
It's good in a way because maybe Celeste brought more people to the genre, maybe not. But yeah, like that's kind of how I feel the same way. It's like I have so many good ones backlogged because there has been so many good ones. It's such a hard sell for me, personally.
Yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, next we have West of Loathing. This is coming out in spring 2018, and I'm actually kind of excited for this one because it's really easy to be put off because the art style is all like really simplistic stickmen. Like, go watch a video. You look at it and you're like, how is this not a Flash game? Well, the answer is because it started out as a Flash game. The developers of this, they apparently created this, I think it was Flash. It was a browser-based game anyways. It wasn't West of Loathing. It was West of something else, I believe. and they built this game over like 10 years or something, 10, 12 games or years, sorry, and it really had a cult following behind it.
I'm totally
And
getting this game.
then they came out with
Yeah,
West
same.
of Loathing, and they used all that knowledge into this game. So you have people who have a lot of experience building this type of game. It's just super silly RPG. The writing apparently is really good. Like you can interact with just about everything. It's very witty. I think if people like things like South Park, like Stick of Truth and Fractured But Whole, this is the kind of game people should pick up.
Yeah, it's got a similar aesthetic to it with the turn-based like grid action combat. I like it.
It's super creative. The writing's really well done. I can't talk to whether it's going to be a put down and pick up kind of experience. I don't know enough about it, but I have heard lots of good things about it. And I think people are quick to dismiss it based on the art style, which is
right.
kind of sad.
Hey, I dig the art style. This is awesome.
Yeah. If you like super silly stuff, yeah, check it out.
Yeah.
The next one is Pode, which is coming out spring 2018. It's a 3D puzzle game based on Norwegian culture and art. It looks really pretty. It can be played co-op. And yeah, I'm into this because I'm super into 3D puzzle games. So think of kind of, Portal's physics-based. This is more like, what's that game called?
Did you ever play Death Squared?
No.
Yeah.
I've heard of it.
That's kind of like a 3D puzzle game.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to find this game now. It really bothers me.
if you haven't played Death Squared, just as an aside, I highly recommend it. It's from an Australian dev. The writing is hilarious.
It's super fun,
There are so many pop culture references. It's a lot of fun. Switch. It's on I think,
PS4,
Xbox, and PC on Steam.
Is it on Xbox? I can't remember.
I believe it is.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I cannot find this game. But anyways, I'm super.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I'm super into 3D puzzle games, so this will probably be a pickup for me. The next is The Messenger, which is coming out summer 2018. It's published by Developer. It is also Canadian devs again from Quebec. And it is an 8-bit 2D action platformer. So kind of... God, I'm blanking on games today.
That's okay. It's okay. We'll just keep going.
It's kind of Ninja Gaiden-esque.
Okay.
Yeah. It's... I mean, again, hard sell for me. I know it's got a huge fan base. So, it looks good. The next one is Bad North, which is coming out summer 2018.
It's a real-time tactics roguelike about Vikings, apparently.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a tower-based RTS with little mini armies. I can kind of relate it to, I think, Age of Empires, like very simplistic, with a very different art style. It's more like isometric style. I mean, again, this kind of comes down to price point for me. If it's palatable, then I might pick it up. I like Age of Empires. I like real like tactics games. So yeah, it comes down to price point for this one. Banner Saga 3 is coming out in summer 2018. I have the original 2. I've yet to play them. They look good. They've been talked about a lot. Everyone who's into indies is like, oh my god, like you should play this game. It's an RPG with tactics. They also have mentioned the original 2 are coming to Switch, but they haven't said when and whether or not they're coming before or after 3 comes out, which I thought was weird.
I really hope it comes before.
I think so, because you can transfer your choices to the next game.
Yeah.
So it'd be kind of weird if they didn't release 1 and 2 before 3. But yeah, I was a little surprised, but not really, to see Banner Saga 3 coming out on Switch. But overall, I think it was like a pretty solid showcase. A little bit of everything for everyone. There's a little bit, like there's a fighting games, there's puzzle platformers, there's action platformers, there's RPGs. Like it was a really broad indie showcase, and I'm kind of glad that it wasn't just like large indies that we've already heard of. Like some of them we have, some of them we haven't. So it was kind of nice to see. I also am not a huge fan about how they have super vague release dates.
Even
sometime 2018.
I mean,
It will
you've
release.
got yeah, like you've got
Maybe.
big games that do the same thing.
Yeah,
It's
but
like
like
they're gonna
spring
release.
2018, like at least give us a month. We're already in spring. I thought it was a little bit silly, but I know from the developer side, they always want to err on the side of caution.
Yeah,
Especially
which is
because
why.
yeah, Switch. I think for a lot of people, it'll be their first Switch game, so they're being more
Yeah.
careful. But like, kind of,
And with those AAA releases, you can almost gauge in what quarter those games will release in. If it just says 2018, you can kind of say, okay, well, most likely it's going to be a fall game or it's going to be an early spring
I think
game.
all of them were spring or summer except for one. No, sorry, Mark of the Ninja's fall, and one of them had a Pool Panic was just later this year. Everything else was spring or summer. But yeah.
Solid.
Yeah. So I
be...
was pretty excited. I mean, there's a lot of good games on Switch. So
yeah, it should be a good gaming year. So moving on to our next topic, GDC just ended, and for those of you that are not aware what GDC is, it's the Game Developers Conference, and it's the world's largest professional game industry event. So I know a lot of people think E3 is pretty massive. GDC, I think, is even bigger. It's got like over 26,000 attendees, and a lot of it is the primary forum where programmers, artists, producers, game designers, audio pros, business decision makers, and pretty much anybody else involved with the development of games, they get together, exchange ideas, and try and help shape the industry. So
I lose all my friends for like a week and a half, basically, is GDC.
Yeah, a friend of mine from the States, she's just been working like crazy because the company she works for had stuff to showcase at GDC, and I think she's finally able to relax. So some of the things that were announced at GDC, obviously everyone, Far Cry 5 is releasing in 2 days from now. Apparently one of the things that they featured is you can rub the dog's tummy to heal him.
I'm for this. More dog mechanics.
Did you like dog meat in Fallout 4?
Yes, I have a pop figure
Best
of
companion.
dog meat.
Nice. Best companion ever, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
I just want to say that when I saw the headlines for this, I couldn't believe that this was breaking news because it came so early before the game.
Yeah. Spike Chernsoft, publisher, had a few announcements. They announced 5 games for this year. There's Pixel Junk Monsters 2, which is coming to Switch, PS4, PC this May. It's a tower defense game with online co-op, 3D Tiki-inspired art style. Shibuya Scramble, which is coming out on PS4 and PC this summer. The visual novel / FMV.
Yo, if you're going to check out one trailer, please check out Shibuya Scramble. It looks absolutely freaking ridiculous. It's literally like FMV, so it goes between like action, like live action video shots, and it's ridiculous. I love it. I need this Japan madness in my life. Give it to me.
Nice. We've also got Steins Gate Elite, which is coming to Switch, PS4, and PC sometime in 2018. It's another visual novel based on an anime. Then there is.
It's just like it's not based on an anime. It's
not based. Oh, okay.
It's a visual novel that has an anime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's a visual novel that has an anime.
Yeah, it just got popular enough just to, get an anime, I guess.
Oh, interesting. Because it said it was pulling from anime episodes.
Yeah, I could see that happening. It's just like the original game is like I played a little bit of Steins Gate. It's very science based, really, because it goes in like the first game anyway. I've only played a bit of it. It goes into time travel and like the actual scientific kind of way that would actually work. It's a very interesting game, but it's so very technical. I wish I could finish it at some point, but too many games.
Yeah.
No, it did have. So it started out as a visual novel, and then it became a manga, and now it's an anime.
Yep.
And now it's going back to visual novel. So
Yep.
this particular visual novel is going to take some of the scenes from the anime that was made and bring it into this particular visual novel.
Okay.
Cool.
No wonder there was confusion there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we've also got Xanax Zero, The Last Beginning, which is coming out on PS4 and PC. So it's summer of 2018. It's a survival RPG. You get to play as 8 Sins with infinite lives. It's a dungeon crawling aspect, and it looks like it has a 13-day cycle. This is kind of how the gameplay goes.
Sorry, I'm just. It is important to note this is from the Danganronpa team, because a lot of people will have played those games, myself included. It's got a massive fan base. So like basically they said Danganronpa team. I'm like, buy. How do I get this game? Give it to me.
That's probably the selling point for them, being able to say that.
100%. I saw Danganronpa. I saw the video, and I was like, yes, give it to me. It's Danganronpa with more game mechanics, which I'm totally for. Like, give it to me now.
And then we also have Fire Pro Wrestling World, which is coming out on PS4 in summer of 2018.
That's an interesting game, to be honest. Like,
is it?
Like, it's a way for like. So to go into detail, earlier this year it was announced that wrestlers from New Japan Pro Wrestling would be featured in the game. So this would be a way to get that wrestling IP for that promotion, because like, you know, WWE is so big that they have their game, their yearly game, and this is just a way for the New Japan just to get more recognition in the gaming industry anyway. So it's interesting that they're including them in there, and plus I think they're also being featured in the upcoming Yakuza game. So there's a lot of them being inserted in certain games. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
No worries. It looks like Atari is kind of returning to the gaming consoles a little bit with the Atari box. So this is a the exact specs haven't actually been released, but it looks like it's going to be running on a customized AMD processor with Radeon graphics. It's got HDMI, USB, Ethernet, and SD slots on it. If you've seen any screenshots of this, it does look very similar to the Atari 2600. It's got that black veneer with the fake wood grain, and the size is about half as big as a 2600. Spec wise, it seems to be comparable to a mid-range PC from about 2017. So it's powerful enough that you could run, most games, but probably going to struggle with anything that's currently out there now. Hardware-wise, it looks like it's going to include a classic joystick, which is based on the single-button design of the Atari CX40 joystick. So that very iconic joystick that a lot of people
and red button.
Yeah, that one that a lot of people associate with video games.
Let's be clear that millennials associate with video games. Gen Z will have no idea.
That's true. Yeah.
And looks like there's also a modern controller as well, which has a more, traditional, or I guess now traditional layout.
Have they announced what games are going to be on it?
From what I've seen, it doesn't. I don't see much about software. It looks like it's going to be a Linux-based OS. So I don't know if we're going to now see another set of ports of games, or if anything that'll run on, any game that's designed to run on Linux will then be able to work on this machine. I'm not
all two of them.
I'm not sure exactly. Yeah, exactly. Atari has stated though that it will ship with tons of classic Atari retro games preloaded onto the system, which is akin to the Super NES and the NES Classic, because that's a Linux-based machine with a good number of classic games. So they stated that there will be hundreds of Atari games plus a number of retro games from other catalogs. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly what is going to be on this machine. The price range for it, I think, is in the like $200 range. Is what I was seeing at one point for price, which
is pretty steep.
Yeah, if it's going to be a console that's going to play classic Atari games, that's pretty expensive. I mean, people were kind of scoffing at the $100 price tag, well, $100 Canadian price tag of the the NES and Super NES classics. But
yeah, it really comes down to games, I think, because if it's just the classics, well, I mean, you can buy one from like Bed Bath and Beyond for $20.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. There's not a whole lot that has been unveiled about this system. Hopefully, we'll see some more actually at E3 this year, because I think that would be a good spot for them to release some more information. In addition to that, Oculus Go is out. Wireless headset, fully contained, so it's power source, processor, and everything, with a possible release in May, and around a $200 price tag.
I am kind of excited about this because I don't have a PC that's strong enough for VR. I'm like at that annoying, like I've got a good laptop, but it's just that one stage too low. I have a 960M graphics card.
Yeah.
And when I talked to HTC Vive, they said the minimum they recommend is dual 970 or just one 980 GeForce, or you go up to the 1070s. They said it's doable in a 1060, but it's preferable to do 1070 to get the speeds that you need, because you need minimum 90 frames per second. So you don't get the motion sickness. So I have that like annoying like PC that's just not quite good enough. So I would have to dump like $1,800 into a PC. Plus, then I have to buy the ridiculous Canadian prices for the Vive, which I think is sitting at like almost $1,800 itself. So that's out of price for me, but the Oculus Go and the Vive Focus, these two will have my attention. I know it's like, oh, the graphics aren't as good, like all this other stuff, but for someone who's like me, looking for their first foray past Google Cardboard, this is really exciting.
I agree completely, and I know you mentioned price, $200 US for this. If it's going to be able to kind of get you into that VR space, I would say that's actually pretty good. That's
I would agree, because at this point it would be competing right against PSVR.
Yeah,
in terms of price range,
it's like half the price. Really, it's a good entry point.
Almost, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
that's
I mean, good. So
get more people into VR, get more people excited about it. Make it more accessible, and more people will come to it. Because right now, there's not really a lot of money in VR.
The only problem is that it's a Facebook product, and we know what they're like in the news right now. So.
Well, good thing that we're talking about Vive next, then.
Yes, the Vive Pro has been announced. Now, this one's got a slightly higher price tag of $800 US. You've got a higher resolution screen. It's got dual front-facing cameras. It's got new tracking technology. And then there's also the Vive Focus, which is a standalone headset. So that was also, looks like that was unveiled at GDC as well.
Oh, people are complaining about this $800 price tag, but they pay more than that for a phone.
That is true.
It's one of those things where I was like, yes, it's expensive, but people pay a lot more for other things. And let's be real, Vive Pro, their consumer base already have desktops that are worth more than $3,000 minimum. So these people have the money. It's still an early adopter technology. Of course, it's going to be expensive. I actually thought 800 was reasonable for what it is.
I think so too.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
I think it's a direct contrast to the Oculus Go, because like you were saying, that's a good gateway into it, but Vive Pro is for the people who already believe in the product and just want a way better experience.
Yeah, but the Vive Focus is actually a separate system where it's they're a competitor to Oculus Go. I don't know the price point for it.
Oh,
it's a different headset. So the people are complaining that $800 for the Vive Pro does not include the wireless system. It's still wired.
Right.
And then you can buy this add-on, which makes it wireless, apparently.
Yeah, you get the adapter.
So that's like a little disappointing, I guess, but still $800 for like the resolution that they have. It's so groundbreaking. I was just like $800 for a groundbreaking product. I mean, it's like, yes, it is expensive, but it's not. If it's too expensive for you, you're not their core audience.
Yeah. Just did a quick search. The Vive Focus is currently on sale in 2 flavors in China, roughly $679 US for the electric blue or $631 for the almond white. Okay, now I see why they called it flavors. And
colors with flavors, yes.
Yeah. Electric blue sounds like a Gatorade flavor.
Yeah.
It includes now those prices look like it includes local taxes and a controller. So if you adjust to remove China's 17% sales tax, that's about 523 US. I think on the low end of the scale.
Okay.
So which is actually still, I would say, still pretty reasonable.
Yeah, because if it comes with the controllers packed in.
Yeah. Heck, most game consoles cost that much. Around that price. You buy a decent video card, you're looking at $500-600 just for one component. So these prices, yeah, they seem high, but when you, like Steph said, when you look at how much some of these desktops are costing people, like, yeah, I had a $3,500 desktop at one point. So, and also announced, looks like there are some Twitch extensions for games. So the extensions allow the broadcaster, or give the broadcasters tools that lets viewers interact with the streams a little bit more. So they can do things, from viewing the favorite streamers' World of Warcraft stats. They can disrupt in-game action of titles such as like the Darwin Project, things like that. Mixer also does something very similar as well, where you can interact with the stream and with the games. And I think this is really awesome for streamers, regardless of what platform you're using, because then it allows your viewers to actually kind of participate and play the game with you. Mixer actually even goes a step further and allows you to hand over control of your game to one of the people viewing. So you could, I'm not sure if you can do co-op or if it just hands over control, but like that's even a step further where you can actually play with one of your viewers. They don't even have,
which is really cool.
Yeah, it is. I know Mixer has a few steps up over Twitch in terms of like for latency and everything. So Twitch has got a little bit to go from there, but regardless of which platform you use, Mixer or Twitch, stuff like this coming out is really awesome. Especially if you are one of those hardcore streamers and you do a lot of streaming and everything. Like I'm small potatoes. I barely get 6 when I do stream. But I know I've got there's a few people that I know that are Mixer streamers, and they'll get upwards of 1,000 viewers at times. And so this is going to be stuff like this is going to be really good for them.
Yeah, it's really exciting too, because like Twitch integration has really been boiled down to the game developers before this. Yep. And this is kind of Twitch's first, like they're trying to get it first party, because Twitch integration for games have been very limited. So it's exciting to see like this come out. So it's first party, puts less pressure on the developers, but then also like as a viewer, you have more interactions.
Yeah, exactly. So I may find I might start watching a few more streamers as stuff like this comes out. I only watch a couple so far. Couple buddies, and they have their own podcast shows as well, and they actually broadcast them on Twitch. So but as more of this stuff comes out, I know I'll probably start interacting a bit more. Well, let's move on to our next topic. This one is it's going to be our weekly topic on the pod. It's the game releases for this week, and we're handing this one over to Dennis.
Yeah, this is my topic now. Apparently,
this is your topic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Get hyped.
First game coming out on March 27th is Far Cry 5. It's coming to the Xbox One, PS4, and PC. This is probably the biggest game that's coming out this week, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're a baseball fan. But anyway. And then coming out the same day is Outlast for Switch. So scary times on the lovable handheld we all love. Next game coming out after that is, it's not rabbit season. It's not duck season. It's baseball season, because MLB The Show 18 is coming to PS4.
Love it.
On March 27th. I just thought of that. It was so good. I'm glad I used it. Yeah,
it was good.
It was awesome.
Yeah, very proud of you.
Yeah, I'm proud of myself too. And coming out the same day for Steam is Ascendance, a peaceful 3D action / puzzle platformer.
So I had to pick this because I went through the Steam new releases, and god damn, that's hot garbage. I hate it so much. But this game, it's I think for people who like games like Abzu, where it's just like really peaceful and you just get to like explore and there's like no bad guys. You just get to like zone out and go very zen. It's a very pretty game, and it's a platformer. I was just like, yes, I need more games where I can just chill and get zen.
Yeah, I'm always down for chill games.
And the next game coming out, I don't know when this is coming out, is another Altair game. I put these out like they're not going anywhere else. That game is Altair, Lady and Suel, The Alchemist and the Mysterious Paintings, an anime RPG. If you're a fan of those, there's another one. If you're not, I don't know what to say.
I tried really hard.
I love it. Just
like
keep going.
Once in a while, I'm like,
I tried really hard not to put.
We don't even know if these are real games, so
they are. I tried really hard not to put anime bullshit game. Like I tried so hard.
You did good.
It is what it is.
That's all right.
Next game coming out is The Witch and the 100 Knight 2, another anime RPG game.
Look out!
I mean, they have a fan base.
Yeah,
and they know what they like. So, all the power to them. They have lots of games to play.
Yeah. After that, on March 28th is Evil Cause coming to Steam, a 2D adventure platformer. It's a game. It's coming out. Okay, and then the next game, Baseball Season Doesn't Stop, because RBI Baseball 18 is coming to mobile on March 27th, and it already came out on PS4 and Xbox One on March 20th, and it's coming to Switch later in the spring.
So if you don't know about the RBI baseball games, it's kind of like a cheaper version of the MLB.
MLB.
Yeah. The previous versions have not had like two kind of reviews. It's been people have said like it's very arcadey and not the greatest. Like if you wanted a good baseball game experience, MLB The Show is the one to pick. But Major League Baseball is actually kind of, I think, redone this RBI for 2018. It should hopefully be a much better entry into the series.
They put a lot into this one, right?
They did, yeah. Like MLB, like they've got like in-house development for this game. I think they moved it in-house.
Yeah,
and because I think they realized how poorly received the previous entries have been, and so they needed to really do something better for this one. So
and it's awesome to get a baseball game on another console other than the PlayStation.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I'd love to see the show leave and like go multi-plat.
Yeah,
that's never going to happen.
Yeah, because it's developed by Sony Santa Monica.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm going to be looking at some reviews on this, because if it does turn out to be a good entry, I will be picking it up on Switch for sure.
Sweet, on the Switch, eh?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I need to increase my. I really like. I mean, the Switch is. I love the Switch because I can take everything with me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll be getting this on Switch as long as it reviews okay.
Moving on to Long Gone Days, coming to Steam on March 28th. 2D, RPG, anime art style. Steph says you should play as a sniper.
No, you are a sniper.
Oh, you are.
So it's it's like kind of wartime setting, and you kind of walk around. It's got a 3D area, but then it's got like 2D art style. I mean, the art style really impressed me, and I mean, it looked different, so I put it in there.
Yeah. On to the next is Shining Resonance Refrain, coming to PS4 on March 29th. After that, Super Robot Wars X for PS4 and PS Vita, coming on March 29th.
Nice.
After that is Spectrum Break, coming to Steam on March 29th. 2D, fast-paced, colorful action platformer. Coming.
This is from a Ontario dev, So shout out to them.
Nice.
And last but certainly not least is Agony. That's heartwarming. It's a horror game coming to PC, PS4, Xbox One on March 30th. And that is for games releasing this week.
How spooky is that one going to be? I want to find out.
Doesn't matter. Hard pass for me.
Yeah, same here. I don't like scary games. I like colorful games.
Scary games
with hope.
Well, thank you very much, Dennis.
No problem.
That was awesome.
Once again, it was amazing.
It was a roller coaster ride of emotion.
And I got to put some of my jokes in there too.
You did. That was great.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that about wraps it up for this episode of the Canadian Geekcast. Guys, if people wanted to connect with you online, where can they do so? Steve, let's start with you.
Yeah, you can follow me primarily on Twitter at svigvari. That's where I'll be there most of the time, posting my stuff.
Nice. Dennis, what about you?
Yeah, same Twitter at Hunter/13. It's Hunter Slasher and then numbers 1 and 3.
Right on. You can get me on Twitter as well under the name Reggie Fizameme. If you're on Reddit, you can hit me up under the name Trainass. If you browse the Xbox One subreddit and I've removed your thread, I apologize. Read the rules, and then maybe it won't get removed. I gotta keep that Microsoft shill money rolling in. So, and it's
that rare money,
rare money too. Yes,
yeah.
I got it. I'm getting it from both sides. So, yeah.
What a life!
Oh, I know.
What a life you got.
I know. It's awesome. And Steph, what about you? Where can people connect with you online?
Primarily on Twitter is best. I'm at Maple Thistles. Yeah. I mean, I'm on Instagram and other stuff, but I'm most active on Twitter for sure. And for all of us, if you would like to have links to our social media profiles, listen to our latest podcast, etc., you can find us at Canadian Geekcast without the A .wixsite.com/home.
Right on. Thank you very much. So be sure to tune in next week where we're going to discuss all things more geeky. And we're also going to talk about why pineapple is the worst pizza topping in history.
You're wrong. You're so wrong.
That'll be on the Canadian Geekcast. Bye.